Today in managerial accounting, we're going to look at activity-based costing. Let's do a little throwback time. In the past, we've talked about job order costing and process costing. These are considered to be traditional costing systems. Overhead is allocated to a job or function using direct labor hours, machine hours, or direct labor dollars in this type of costing system. However, for some companies, new technologies have changed the manufacturing environment, and hours worked or dollars earned are no longer good indicators of how much overhead needs to be allocated. This is where activity-based costing is used to allocate overhead costs. Activity-based costing, or ABC, assumes that steps or activities followed to manufacture a product are what determine the overhead costs incurred. Each overhead cost, whether it's variable or fixed, is placed into a category or an activity cost pool. Cost drivers are the activities that cause the total cost in the cost pool to increase. Activity cost pools and cost driver examples would include the following. For activity cost pool, it could be design, and the number of design changes is the cost driver. An activity cost pool could be repairs, and the number of repairs is the cost driver. For an activity cost pool for assembly, direct labor hours could be the cost driver. An activity cost pool could be setup, and the number of machine setups could be the cost driver. An activity cost pool could be cleaning, with the number of machine cleanings being the cost driver. And finally, an activity cost pool could be inspection, with the number of inspections as the cost driver. Let's talk about activity rate. Your activity rate is determined by taking your total budgeted activity cost and dividing it by the total budgeted activity usage. We're going to look at Level Up Gaming today. Level Up Gaming has decided on 4 main activities that are used in the production of their standard and custom gaming systems. The activities are production, setup, design, and factory services. We're going to look at the budgeted cost, the activity cost driver, and the budgeted activity usage for each of these activities. For production, the budgeted cost is $600,000. The activity that drives the cost is direct labor hours, and they're expecting 100,000 direct labor hours to be used. For setup, the budgeted cost is $2 million, with the activity cost driver being setups. Budgeted activity usage is 200 setups. For design, the budgeted cost is $1,200,000. The activity cost driver is design changes, and the budgeted activity usage is 10 changes. For factory services, the budgeted cost is $1 million. The activity cost driver is square feet, and the budgeted activity usage is 20,000 square feet. The total budgeted overhead cost for Level Up Gaming is $4,800,000. Now we can determine the activity rate based on this information. So at the top we have activity, budgeted cost, budgeted activity usage, and activity rate. We take the total budgeted cost for both types of systems, the standard and the custom, and the total budgeted activity usage for, again, both the custom and the standard combined. So for production, we're going to take the budgeted cost of $600,000 and divide it by the budgeted activity usage of 100,000 direct labor hours, and we will get an activity rate of $6 per direct labor hour. For setup, we will take $2 million budgeted cost and divide it by the 200 setups, the budgeted activity usage. This gives us an activity rate of $10,000 per setup. For design, $1,200,000 for the budgeted cost divided by the 10 budgeted activity changes is going to give us an activity rate of $120,000 per change. And for factory services, we will take the $1 million budgeted cost divided by the budgeted activity usage of 20,000 square feet. And we will get $50 per square feet activity rate for the factory services. Level Up Gaming collects the following information related to the gaming systems. So we have the activity cost drivers. We have the standard system, the custom system, and the totals. For direct labor hours, the standard system is expected to use 75,000 and custom is expected to use 25,000. For setups, the standard system is expected to use 40 and the custom system 160. For design changes, the standard system expects to use 0 and the custom system 10. And for square feet, we have 12,000 allocated to the standard system and 8,000 allocated to the custom system. The totals on the right match up to the totals for the budgeted activity in the previous slides. So direct labor hours total is 100,000, setups are 200, design changes are 10, and square feet is 20,000. We will multiply actual activity usage by the activity rate as follows to get the overhead cost allocated to each activity. Our allocated cost equals actual activity usage times activity rate. Let's look at the standard gaming system for Level Up Gaming. Up at the top, we have activity usage, which we will multiply times activity rate to get our allocated cost. The 4 activities again are listed on the left: production, setup, design, and factory services. For the standard gaming system, the expected activity usage for production is 75,000 direct labor hours. We will multiply that times the activity rate of $6 per direct labor hour for an allocated cost of $450,000. The standard gaming system expects to have 40 setups, which we will multiply times the activity rate of $10,000 per setup for an allocated cost of $400,000. For design, the standard gaming system expects 0 changes. We multiply that times the activity rate of $120,000 per change, we get an allocated cost for design of $0. And for factory services, the standard gaming system uses 12,000 square feet. Multiply that times the activity rate of $50 per square foot, we get an allocated cost of $600,000. We can total up these allocated costs on the right, and they come out to $1,450,000. We can divide this by the units we expect to produce for the year, 5,000, and we'll get the overhead cost per unit of $290. Now let's look at the custom gaming system. Again, at the top, we have activity usage times activity rate equals allocated cost. The activities are production, setup, design, and factory services. For production, the custom gaming system expects to use 25,000 direct labor hours. We multiply that times the activity rate of $6 per direct labor hour. We get an allocated cost of $150,000. For setups, we expect 160 setups at $10,000 per setup for an allocated cost of $1,600,000. For design, we expect 10 design changes that we multiply times $120,000 per change. The allocated cost here is $1,200,000. And for factory services, the custom gaming system uses 8,000 square feet. We multiply that times $50 per square foot to get an allocated cost of $400,000. We total up the allocated cost for the custom gaming system, and it equals $3,350,000. We can divide this by the units expected to be produced, which is 1,000. And the overhead cost per unit comes out to $3,350. Some advantages to activity-based costing say that it's more effective overhead cost control because it focuses on activities. You can identify large costs, and that can help in improving processes. It can also provide better production and pricing decisions. More accurate overhead cost allocation can allow management to focus production activities on more profitable products and more accurately set selling prices. Some disadvantages of activity-based costing. It can be costly to implement and maintain. It requires a thorough analysis of cost activities and cost drivers. You could also have product cost distortion. This happens when costs can't be readily classified into an activity cost pool, or when cost drivers do not have a strong cause and effect relationship with the costs. The final disadvantage for activity-based costing is that it's not compliant with GAAP. In other words, generally accepted accounting principles. So it can't be used for external financial reporting under GAAP.